Mr. Romney is wrapping up support from his primary rivals and using them in his campaign. He has not moved on. He's bringing the primary campaign with him. The exception, of course, as always, is Ron Paul. Technically, the Ron Paul folks are on board with Romney in the sense that Dr. Paul's son, the senator from Kentucky, endorsed Mr. Romney. But as with everything between Ron Paul and the rest of the Republican Party, it is a little bit awkward. For example, this weekend, Ron Paul won Iowa. It's official. There will be 25 delegates plus superdelegates sent to the National Republican Convention from the great state of Iowa this year. And even though you heard that Mitt Romney won on election night, and even though you heard a couple of weeks after that actually no, Rick Santorum won in Iowa, really, Ron Paul won. Of the 25 delegates, 21 of them are Ron Paul delegates, leaving the Ron Paul campaign to put out this rather unsubtle press release this weekend. Ron Paul wins Iowa. And it's true, he did, bottom line. Ron Paul also hosting a Ron Paul Revolution rally in Tampa at the site of the Republican convention this summer, the day before it opens, which is a rather in-your-face move for a guy who is not getting the nomination.
We should not be disruptive, but we should also not be pushed around.
Ron Paul's message to supporters this weekend, announcing their plans for this counter-convention in Tampa this summer. With his winning Iowa this weekend, frankly, with him also winning a majority of delegates and therefore technically also winning the states of Maine and Minnesota and Nevada and possibly Louisiana, if Republicans there ever finish sorting that one out, you got to ask, what's Ron Paul going to do with those delegates that he's sending to the convention, especially after he holds a counter-convention in Tampa the day before the real convention starts? Nobody quite knows what he's going to do with those delegates yet. It may have something to do with a party platform fight, although since nobody knows what's on a party platform anyway, it kind of seems like a waste of breath. Whatever the Ron Paul folks are going to be there to fight for, though, it's interesting now. It's a really interesting dynamic inside the Republican Party that Mitt Romney is using the other Republican primary contenders who he beat this year against Ron Paul, using them to neutralize the Ron Paul factor. Rick Santorum promised last weekend that he wants to make sure strong, principled conservatives, like presumably him, will stand ready to counterbalance the effect of the Ron Paul folks. So if the Ron Paul folks make some kind of crazy break for the Republican Party platform, which nobody notices anyway, Rick Santorum is telling Republicans that he stands ready to counterbalance them. He will fight them on Mitt Romney's behalf. Mitt Romney has consolidated the support of his primary rivals. I mean, even once they have picked their nominee, even once Mitt Romney has consolidated that support, honestly, the Republican Party trying to figure out who it is and who's in charge and who their leaders are and who gets a say, it still remains the greatest show on earth, at least the greatest show in politics.